After more than 5 months of play, we finally know which teams are heading to the postseason party. Will the ECHL be getting larger anytime soon? And a little bit of Texas warms things up in Evansville. It's all right now on ECHL Week. For the third straight season and the fourth time in the last 8 years, the Alaska Aces have won the Brabham Cup, which goes to the team with the best regular season record. A 2-1 victory at Colorado clinched the title and allowed Alaska to continue its impressive run. Last season, the Aces became the first team to win back-to-back regular season crowns. Now they've done it 3 straight times.
What I'm most proud of, and kind of put a lot of naysayers to rest here, is the lockout's over. Alaska's not going to be, they won't be able to keep the pace. And talking to somebody at the league office there in San Francisco, I think at the time, at least that weekend in San Francisco, we had the best record post lockout of any team in the league, and I tell you what, there was, and I'm sure even fans back at home were wondering what's this team going to look like with with all the NHL guys leaving, and honestly, so did I, and I think that's probably what I'm most proud about, is that we didn't miss a step. We just kept going. Those guys left. Even that game, I think that was a monumental game when those guys found out Sunday morning in Ontario. We played 2 guys short and, pulled out that win the day of the lockout ending. And I think that was a big milestone for our team. I'm most impressed, most proud of the way the guys played post-lockout when those guys left.
As the last weekend of the regular season unfolds, we finally know all 16 teams that will be in the Kelly Cup playoffs. What we don't know, with just one exception, is what the matchups will be. In the West, the only first-round pairing that's set is top-seeded Alaska taking on first-year San Francisco. Other first-round home teams will be Pacific Division champ Ontario, along with Idaho and Stockton. The opponents for those 3 will be Las Vegas, Colorado, and Utah, although it could take until the end of the regular season on March 30th to determine the pairings. In the East, there are many more permutations. Eastern Conference champ Reading and North Division winner Cincinnati are locked into the top 2 spots. But as you can see here, there are many, many possibilities as we come down the stretch. One thing we do know is that of the 4 South Division clubs to qualify for the postseason, only Gwinnett or Florida will win the South title and the automatic first-round home ice advantage that goes with it. Make sure to check out the next ECHL Week program, which debuts on April 5th. In that show, we'll wrap up the regular season and look at all the first-round playoff matchups, which are expected to begin that evening. The Trenton Titans have made some great strides since last season, when they finished with the fewest points in the league. And although they didn't qualify for the playoffs, they still have a chance at a .500 record. That's quite an improvement in one season. They've recently had 2 very noteworthy accomplishments. First, Shane Harper, who spent most of the season in the AHL with Adirondack, has 11 goals in 12 games with the Titans, and that includes rare back-to-back hat tricks. He's just the 2nd player in the league to do that this season. In a 5-2 victory which eliminated Wheeling from playoff contention, Harper had a power play, shorthanded, and even-strength empty netter for his first pro 3-goal game. The next night, the California native, who's under contract to the Philadelphia Flyers, had 2 more power play goals to go along with an even-strength marker in a 7-2 win over the Nailers. Here he talks about that shorthanded goal.
I was on the penalty kill, got the puck, I took the D wide, and I just tried to take it to the net. Darling kind of showed poke check, so I tried to take it to the back post, didn't quite get it. He might have poked it, and I just saw the puck kind of go behind me, and I just spun around and whacked it and hit my back. And I didn't know it went in until I turned around and Kessel was in my face yelling. So it was pretty cool, yeah.
Harper's teammate, Jacob Cepas, did him one better. The former Idaho Steelhead had 3 points in that first win over Wheeling. But the next night, he became the first player in the ECHL this season to earn 6 points in a game. He had 2 goals and 4 assists as the Titans completed their home record 4 games over 500. The 25-year-old from Ohio is now 4th in the league in assists. He's also going to finish his second pro season as Trenton's leader in both assists and points.
Cepas with Ulrich cutting to the net. Cepas, top of the circle, shot. Redgewood, oh, and a save. Rayback and score! Ulrich, what a goal! Holy cow!
I don't know, I've just been getting a lot of assists. I mean, never really had this many in my life, but, you know, I'll take them. We're just, you know, we just want to do well these last 6 games and go from there. We'll worry about the points later, but it's been an up and down year, and I mean, I'm thankful for the teammates I have and the guys that are helping me out, putting the pucks in the net when I pass it to them.
Cepas followed his 6-point effort with 5 more, including a pair of goals in an 8-2 victory at Elmira. We continue our conversation with League Commissioner Brian McKenna, and he discusses the question of how the ECHL might grow. That's straight ahead on ECHL Week.
So many reasons to be a fan, so many ways to show it. Customize your own at shop.nhl.com.
Now it's time for another segment of our conversation with ECHL Commissioner Brian McKenna. If I'm a fan and I'm looking on the ECHL website, for example, I might look onto the area where it says something about future markets and see that there are still designations there for Columbia, South Carolina, which is an inactive franchise, and also for a franchise that has Reno's name attached to it. Now, I know they both have building problems, but could you, in detail, briefly talk about where those situations stand, where those markets stand?
Yeah, in Columbia, we had a team there for several years, and the facility was no longer usable. The University of South Carolina built a new basketball facility, the Colonial Center, and moved their basketball program over there. So the ice surface that was in the old facility was no longer usable. We've had an ownership group led by Dr. Ezra Reber, who's for several years now been working on a project to hopefully get a new facility built in Lexington County, right next door. He's still optimistic and hopeful that he'll get that done. We're in the same situation in Reno, Nevada, where we've had a group there led by Larry Leisure, who has for several years now been working on various projects, whether it was a renovation or a new facility in or around Reno. We still believe in both of those markets. But when the financial crisis hit in 08, 09, getting public support, public funding for facilities, or even trying to work on public-private partnerships, I mean, a lot of that interest and money just went away. So that's left us in a situation where, again, we still have interest, we still have people working in those markets. We're hopeful that at some point we'll be able to bring forward good news, but in both of those instances, we've got owners who have spent a tremendous amount of time, effort, and money to try to bring ECHL hockey back. So as a league, and I think as a group of owners owners sitting around that table year to year. They're willing to continue to work with those particular markets to try to make sure that we have success at some point in the future, but at this point, nothing to report right now.
Where does the league stand in its overall philosophy in terms of growing, expanding?
Well, I think we're relatively comfortable with where we are in the East right now with the 14 teams. Certainly, the Board of Governors would like to add the current target is 3 teams in the West. And again, Reno may help us solve that issue at some point in the future. But in terms of some more balance in the league and in terms of some more variety and rivalries in the West, we'd like to fill in that geography a little bit. But beyond that, we're relatively comfortable where we are. And again, I think we want to make sure that in the future that if we're looking at new markets, that they fit with our current geography, that it's a good market, good building, good lease, and then an ownership group that has a long-term plan, a business plan that's they're comfortable with, that's acceptable to the league. And if we enter the market, that we're relatively certain that we're going to be there for the longer term.
From the outside, it looks as if things are going very well, and this tier system of developing the Major League, AAA, and AA League looks like it's really starting to come into focus and be embraced by all the people involved. Is that an accurate assessment, and where are we heading in that direction?
Well, it is an accurate assessment in terms of, again, you see the movement back and forth from league to league is clearly there. I think it's still in its early stages of evolution. I think if you talk to most of the owners, most of the general managers, coaches across our league, they would like to see it move in a more positive direction in terms of just more formalized relationships, perhaps more assistance from the major league level in terms of player assignments to our league. We would like to see, I think, all of the teams in the American League, again, have an involvement in our league. I mean, right now we've got probably about 24, 25 teams in the American League that have players assigned to our league, but that means there's still probably a half a dozen teams that don't. And I think our guys would like to see, I guess, more involvement by those teams if they're going to draw players from our league, that they also have an investment in assigning players to our league. So that sort of relationship on a team-by-team basis, a league-to-league basis, we still want to improve on. We understand from the National League and American League that there's probably things that they would like to see done differently in their relationship with our teams as well. And, you know, certainly that's part of the dialogue that needs to occur. So I think it's still fairly early on in that evolution of development. We're not anywhere near where baseball is, certainly. Probably where they were a few decades ago, but again, we have a balance. We want to make sure we continue to provide that environment for players to grow and improve and move up, but at the same time, we also have, I think, a commitment to our fans to make sure that we're putting a quality product on the ice every night, that there are players within our teams, our organizations, our communities that the fans can identify with on a longer-term basis, and hopefully have some stability within our markets.
2 of the top teams in the Western Conference do battle in one of our featured games. Plus, a milestone for a man who never has a home game. It's next on ECHL Week.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
I'm a legend. I'm the player you want to be. I'm the name you'll wear on your jersey. I'm one of a kind. You'll see me everywhere. On the ice. Online. On the All-Star team. Take a good look. I'm the future.
Game officials are often overlooked, except when coaches or fans think they make a mistake. But the referee and linesman are a critical part of every contest. The league recently honored linesman Brad Phillips when he worked his 1,000th and final ECHL game in Toledo. Phillips worked his first ECHL game in October of 1998. Phillips joins former ref and current ECHL Vice President of Hockey Operations Joe Ernst and former linesman Norm Eberle as the only officials to reach the 1,000-game milestone in the league's 25-year history. Phillips, who trains and competes in Ironman triathlons, will still work games in the American Hockey League. I caught up with him and asked him what he'll miss most about the ECHL.
The hockey atmosphere in general. I mean, the camaraderie of the guys. I got to know so many good people from, through hockey, through the ECHL, and, lifelong relationships that I've built with these guys that, I still go up and visit. My old roommates, back when I was living in a league apartment when I was younger, we lived in Baton Rouge and Pensacola, and I lived up in Cincinnati with the guys for a while. The guys that I lived with, we saw each other day in and day out. We worked together, and we built these relationships that, I'm in their weddings, and now we're, kids growing up and stuff like that. We still stay in touch, which I think is awesome. I mean, ECHL was my roots. I started back in the Andy Van Helleman days, and came up with, I was on the ice with Joe, and I was on the ice with Brian Graham. It was a boss before that, and the ECHL is very close to my heart, and it was very sad. It was actually rough for me at the end of the game because I knew I wasn't going to be going back on the ice for another one of those games. And it was, what I thought was fantastic was all the emails and the phone calls I got from guys that I worked with. But on top of that, fans, I worked so many games in Cincinnati, and fans from the Cincinnati area that were able to get a hold of me and say congratulations, but also they were upset because I didn't work the game in Cincinnati because they wanted to see me go off with a bang. So I told them, I promised them I'd come back up to Cincinnati at some point in time and sit down as a spectator from their point of view.
Phillips worked the 2001 ECHL All-Star Game in Arkansas, and he has worked 9 Kelly Cup finals, the most of any linesman in ECHL history. With the Kelly Cup playoffs right around the corner, fans familiar with the Western Conference are certain that the top 2 teams in the Mountain Division, Alaska and Idaho, will be among the favorites to represent the West in the Kelly Cup finals. And although the Aces won the conference and division titles, the Steelheads have had their number this season. Let's take a look at one of their recent matchups. Here's Josh Bogorod to describe the action on GCI and KFQD.
Wing. Taylor to the left wing circle, now in front, and Guggenberger with the save. Denied. Taves throws the puck for the game's first whistle, and we get some tempers flaring behind the play. Gron was dumped down by Crum, and now players have to be separated as Mazzolini by Ryder, and now it's really starting to get busy behind the net. It looked like everything was going to peacefully separate, and then Mazzolini did something that caught Ryder's attention, and they still have not broken up yet. These teams haven't played that many times, just 5 to date. This is the 6th meeting of the year. Play back underway, Steelheads on the attack. Left wing side, Smith over to Blaine, now center point, and a shot deflected into the net. And the Steelheads score early, 5:10 into the hockey game. It's 1-0 Idaho. Here's Kremer. Can't weave his way off the right wing wall. Center ice, Alaska's Steve Ward will lob back in. Catching up, Tim Hall now in front. Hudson, he scores! Alex Hudson ties the game at 1 with the assist to Tim Hall. Welcome back to the lineup. And Todd back along the end wall boards, pressured by Hall, worked free. Here's Coyle. Coyle up ahead for Gagliardi. His pass, Taylor left circle, pass right side, and a shot score. Tyler Gron reclaims the lead for Idaho. Justin Taylor in the right corner. for Blaine. Pushed it down the boards once again. LaFranchise. Pass intercepted. Now taken over by the Steelheads. They set up offensive zone. Shot Ryder and a score! Taylor in front of the net redirected it. It was a bad giveaway by the Aces in the defensive zone, and the Steelheads have their largest lead of the night. Ups over the Idaho line. Drop pass Kremer. Left circle. Kremer jams on the brakes at the half boards and sends it down the wall for Hudson. Gets it back to Kremer, cutting to the net behind it. Wrap around now Hudson, and he scores! His second of the game! Alex Hudson! He's on fire! Aces are back within one! LaFranchise delayed past a man, now off the stick of Kremer. And catching up is Harrison with speed. Harrison in front off the skates of Hudson. Hudson taking cross checks from Blaine. And it's cleared all the way down. And now, Rhymes Hudson drops his gloves and is on top of Hudson. And everybody jumps in after that. Tommy Mealy, or I beg your pardon, Tim Hall through center ice. Now it's Hughes, cuts in front, and a shot, score! Not sure if Mealy touched it or if it belongs to Hughes, but a power play goal and the Aces have tied this game. Tim Hall bringing the puck up the ice, flipped it to Hughes. He lost an edge, played it towards the net, and indeed, Tommy Mealy absolutely did get a piece of it. Bobby Hughes and Tim Hall get the assist. Hall gets his second assist. Dumped in by the Steelheads, left wing side, Gagliardi. Now behind the net, Gron in front, and it's scored! Jace Coyle cutting to the net, and Coyle gets the goal, and the Steelheads have jumped back in front 4-3. 4:56 of the third. Tyler Gron kind of fluttered on a pass, but it wound up perfectly landing. One more rush, crowd urging them on. Curry winds it in, save Robinson, he'll restart, and puck is loose. Blaine will clear all the way down, and that will probably do it. No icing because the Steelheads are shorthanded, and Idaho has once again beaten the Alaska Aces.
Our second featured game looks at Atlantic Division rivals doing battle, plus some football-related entertainment. On the ice, ECHL Week continues.
From opening night until the Kelly Cup is raised, watch every game of the 2012-13 ECHL season exclusively on AmericaOneSports.com. Catch the action live or on demand. Games available on your PC, Mac, or mobile device. The biggest goals, hardest hits, and spectacular saves all season long can be found only at AmericaOneSports.com, the official broadband broadcaster to the ECHL.
The Wheeling Nailers have become the third ECHL team to score 5,000 goals in their history. The milestone marker came on the power play when Zach Torquato directed a shot on goal that was stopped by Toledo goalie Kent Simpson, but the rebound was pounded home by Chris Barton. The Nailers have been competing in the ECHL since 1996. Wheeling rallied from a 2-goal deficit to win that game 3-2, and that loss for the Walleye clinched the North Division title for Cincinnati. The Nailers' opponent for that achievement, Toledo, is another of the teams to have notched 5,000 goals. The third is Johnstown. The Elmira Jackals are still battling to nail down home ice advantage in the first round of the Kelly Cup playoffs. Trenton's Titans are attempting to keep that from happening. That's the scenario for our Eastern Conference featured game. Here's Daryl Dobus with the call on 107.7 The Bronx.
Carrier behind the net. Carrier lost an edge. That's the third person that's lost an edge behind the net in that left corner. Nagy with it, left dot, shot, loose puck in front, rebound, hack that, whack that, still loose, puck that, score! Nagy on the backhand, little 180, right-hander on the left dot, right in front, Carrier hacking and whacking at it. Kessel, 3 goals and 11 assists in his last 10 games as a wrister. That one, a good one by Todd, turned away by Claremont. Schultz tried to keep it. Oh, here comes a break by Rowe. This is trouble. 1-on-none. Rowe, wrister, move, shot, score. The 15th shorthanded goal allowed by the Titans. And that ties it up at 1. Andrew Rowe, his second shorthanded goal of the year, his 25th overall. And he leads the Jackals in points against the Titans. That's 19. Pass along the left side to Johnston. Onside, no icing. Johnston ties up Degon. First time we've seen Marvin Degon as the puck hopped over the crossbar. In shot, goal. Holy cow, are you kidding me? What a cheap goal that was. Puck was deflected behind the net. It came back over the crossbar in front of the crease. And an attempted clear ricocheted off of 2 sticks, and instead of going in the corner, it went into the top right corner, the only part Heater didn't have covered. They still fight. Kessel trying to help out, but the puck comes loose. This will be Tassone. Tassone across Diude. Fobble, shot, score. Titans couldn't clear it. It's 3-2. Schultz to Hatchett, back to Schultz as they sneak in. Schultz to Kessel. Kessel holding. He has a couple power play goals. To Johnston. Johnston to Kessel straight away. Johnston. Schultz is at the dot, but he waited. Pass deflected by Rose. Schultz gets it back. Schultz comes in. He'll blast. Score! Steven Schultz back on the attack. 27 on the year. That's his 18th power play goal. And through a screen door, he beats Maxime Claremont on the left side. Rowe to Southorn. Southorn fakes a blast, holds, wrister deflected in front. That went wide to Heater. Petrus will get it on the right wing to Southorn. Straight away again. 14:49. 6 seconds left in the 4-on-3. Blast, score. Jordan Petrus against his old team has just made this 4-3 Jackals. And like the Titans did on their 4-on-3, the Jackals did on theirs. They score. And this one really hurts the Titans as they're down here. Heater saw it. Just got beat. Petrus will get it out to Bellamy. 2-on-1. Now 3-on-1 as Bellamy comes to the dot. Pass in front. Petrus score. That might do it. Petrus' second goal of the night. The Titans got caught on a 3-on-1. His second of the night. He has 18. And that'll make it 5-3. Johnston will steal it away from Carter. Johnston puts it in the corner to Bombach. Petrus going after him. Bombach reverse skates, trying to keep it in that behind that net. Bombach wanted to hand pass it, didn't do it. He's down on his knees, finally out with it, and that scrum was Quayle. Quayle up to center ice to Bellamy. Bellamy with a chance at center ice. He's got an open net. That's game, and that's the season.
Trenton was still mathematically alive after that loss, but a defeat in Elmira a few days later eliminated the Titans from postseason contention. In that game, the Jackals' Rob Bellamy added his name to the growing list of players to earn 5 points in a game this season. He notched a pair of goals and 3 assists and was a +5. Teammates Ryan Palmer, Kevin Harvey, and Kyle Bushy were also +5s in Elmira's 7-1 victory, and Jordan Petrus was a +6 to go along with his hat trick. We love showing you all the different things that ECHL teams offer to entertain their fans during a game, in addition to playing hockey, of course. So today we visit Evansville to take a look at what football fans have known for years, that the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders are very entertaining and know how to put on a good show. That's it for today's show. Make sure to join us next time as we wrap up the regular season and preview the Kelly Cup playoffs. Until then, make it a good week. Make it an ECHL week.